Hi everyone, welcome to Mitch Maths. My name is Mitch and today we're going to go over the order of operations. So what I mean by an operation is essentially any way of manipulating numbers. So that can be through adding, subtracting, multiplying or dividing. And when you've got lots of these operations all mixed up together in one big equation, you must do each one in a specific order. And if you don't do them in this right order, then you'll end up getting the complete wrong equation and you'll end up getting the wrong answer. But luckily for everyone, there's a really good and easy way of remembering the order of these operations and how you should do them, and that is with the help of BODMAS. So BODMAS is an acronym, and I've spelled it out down here in this column, and each letter in BODMAS essentially stands for a different operation. And BODMAS also tells us the order that you must do these in, starting with B and then working all the way down to S, being the last thing you do. So let's go through BODMAS then and have a look at what each letter actually stands for. So the first one is B, and that stands for brackets. So brackets look like this. They usually group around other operations. So for this example, I've got here 4 plus 7 within the brackets. So when the brackets are there, you know that anything that is inside the brackets must be done first before anything that is done outside the brackets. The next one is O, and that stands for other. So this is basically anything that isn't adding, subtracting, dividing or multiplying. So that mainly includes powers and surds, which will look like this. The next one, D, stands for dividing. Next one's M for multiplying, A for adding, and S for subtracting. And this is the order you must do it in, guys. And when you're going through an equation, you must follow BODMAS and do them just like this. And now I'm going to show you some examples of how you do this in practice. Okay, so here's our first example that we're going to run through using BODMAS. So the way we would say this equation is we've got 5 plus 3 all squared minus 12 divided by 3. So let's run through this now using BODMAS and let's see the answer that we get. So B is the first letter of BODMAS, that stands for brackets. So you can see we've got two sets of brackets in this equation. Doesn't matter which order we do them in, as long as we do both of the brackets first. So let's just start with the first one then. So in the first one, we've got 5 plus 3. So 5 plus 3 is 8. And we keep that inside the brackets. So we just do the bits that are inside the brackets. 5 plus 3 is 8. We bring that down. Minus the second lot of brackets. So in this one we have 12 divided by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we keep that in the brackets as well. And here we have 4. That's our brackets done. So let's move on to the next one then. Next one is O. That stands for other. And remember, other is powers and surds. So in this one, we have a power. So here we have 8 to the power of 2, or 8 squared. So 8 times 8 is 64. So we have 64. And what's left, we have minus 4. So let's just keep that as minus 4 for now. So here's our final equation. Now we're down to one operation left, and that is just the minus. We don't have any dividing, so we don't have any of that to do. Don't have any multiplying left. Don't have any addition. And now we're just left with the subtraction. But we need to make sure we go through all the order first, make sure that we've covered everything before we move on to the next operation. So here we're just left with 64 minus 4, and that gives us 60. And 60 is the answer to this equation. And now we've gone through it using BODMAS, we've done it all in the right order, and we've ended up with 60. Okay, so moving on to the next example, and this time we're going to throw in a little bit of algebra as well. So in this equation we have D equals 3a squared plus 2b all over 4 times c plus 3. And we know that a equals minus 2, b equals 2, and c equals minus 4. So we want to find out what d is. So with a question like this, the first thing we can do is substitute all of the letters in this equation with the numbers that we know they represent. So let's go ahead and do that now then. So we have 3 times a, which we know is minus 2. So we can put minus 2 here, squared. And when you're substituting numbers into letters like this, I always find it helps to put a bracket around the number. And the reason for that is if we don't have the bracket, sort of like this, then what you can end up doing is you can say, oh, I've got 3 times minus 2 squared. 2 squared is 4. So you'll say, oh, 2 squared is 4. Then you've got 3 times minus 4. But this is obviously not correct, because what you've basically done is you've multiplied the 2 by 2, but you haven't taken into account the minus. So what this should actually be, let's rub this out, is 3 times minus 2 squared, and minus times a minus we know is a plus, so the answer to that will be 4, but we'll come on to that in a second. So carrying on with the equation, substituting the numbers in then, plus 2 times b, which we know is 2, all over 4 times, in the brackets, c, which we know is minus 4, plus 3. Okay, so now we've got all the numbers in our equation, and now we can start going through BODMAS. So first one is b. We have some brackets here, and we have some brackets here that we put in ourselves as well. And one thing we need to look at when we have an equation like this, when we have a dividing symbol, so we have a numerator and a denominator, with BODMAS we have to effectively count each one completely separately. We have to pretend like these are completely separate equations above and below the divide line. We do not divide like it is in the order of BODMAS. We keep it completely separately, top and bottom. So I'll show you what I mean as we go through it. So we can go through the top row then. So we have some brackets here. We can't do anything with a minus 2 particularly, so then we move on to the next one, other. So we have a power, and of course we have a power here. We have minus 2 squared. So if we were to write out this one again then, so that would become 3 times minus 2 times minus 2 is plus 4, and we'd have the 2 times 2 as well. And that would be all over now the denominator. So let's start BODMAS again then. So b, brackets, we have some brackets here, so that will become 4 times, inside the brackets we have minus 4 plus 3. So minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1. So that becomes 4 times minus 1. So now we've got rid of the brackets and we've got rid of all the powers. We then move on to the next one, divide. And because we're keeping the top and bottom separate, we don't have any divide for now. So moving on to the next one, we have m, which stands for multiply. So we've got lots of that in our equation. So let's go through that then. So we have 3 times 4, which we know is 12, plus 2 times 2, which we know is 4. Again, all over 4 times minus 1, which just becomes minus 4. Okay, moving on to the next one then, adding. Got a bit of adding at the top. So this becomes 12 plus 4 becomes 16, all over minus 4. Okay, so we're getting there now. So now we've done everything else. We've just got a single number on the top and a single number on the bottom. Now we can take into account the dividing symbol. So this becomes 16 divided by minus 4. Because there's a minus on only one side of the line, we can bring that out to the front. And it's just 16 divided by 4, which we know is 4. And that is our answer, minus 4. That is the answer to this equation we started with. We followed BODMAS all the way through, remembering that when we have a division like this with a numerator and denominator, we keep each one completely separate until right at the end where we have only a single number, top and bottom. And we followed each numerator and denominator, followed through with BODMAS, starting with the brackets, powers, multiplication, and then the addition. And we go all right through to our answer of -4. Okay, so that covers all the rules of BODMAS. We've gone through 2 examples there, which are a pretty good representation of the type of questions that you could get asked on this sort of thing. And I hope you found this video useful, guys. If you want to look at more videos, go to my YouTube channel. I'll be putting this all on my website soon. My website will be coming out soon. And if you enjoyed this video, then go check out my other ones, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.